Hi everyone, I'm Chris G and welcome to another edition of the Habs360 podcast featured on allhabs.net. On this week's episode that aired on April 6th, I spoke with my co-host George about the Canadiens' acquisition of Drewiske. Here are George's thoughts on the trade.
Well, since Rafael Diaz is out with a concussion, it was imperative that the Montreal Canadiens add some experience in the blue line. Earlier this season, we saw Patterin, we saw Tenorti, we saw Beaulieu, but you can see that although these kids have a lot of potential, they're not ready to make the jump in the big leagues now. And the acquisition of Drewiske is a good one. And as far as his play goes and what I've seen so far in the past two games, it's what I expected, rather boring. I mean, there's no razzle-dazzle. He keeps things simple. He'll take out the body and then get rid of the puck. As simple as that.
And that was a scouting report on him, so we shouldn't be expecting anything more from him. And I don't think when Bergevin went to pick him up, I don't think that's what he was expecting from him either. But he's a big guy, 6'2", 220 pounds, so which is great to have on a defenseman. I think he's going to fit in as a number 6 role right now until the return of Rafael Diaz. And then when Diaz comes back, he's probably going to be the odd man out in the number 7 role. It's also a good pickup. He's a UFA. He's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. So at the end of the year, he's probably out of the picture. Like George said, we had a lot of prospects on defense in Hamilton, which could be Beaulieu, could be Tenorti, Patterin. So there's a bunch of guys that could replace Drewiske coming next season. Last year, Davis was part of the Los Angeles Kings, but didn't play at all in the playoff run. I think he actually played 0 games in the playoffs. So was this more, George, think more of a depth move?
Absolutely. I mean, Marc Bergevin has said it time and time again. You can never have too many defensemen because injuries happen, and it's good to know that if something does happen, we have a depth player that can step in and fill a role in the number 6 spot. And when, like you said, when Diaz comes back, he's the odd man out, but nothing wrong with that. So I agree with the pickup, and yeah.
And in LA, he was in the number 7 position for the Los Angeles Kings. And then the Kings ended up picking up Robin Regier at the trade deadline. So then Drewiske, I guess, became the Yannick Weber, which was their extra defenseman that they wanted to get rid of. The only difference was that they were successful, and the Canadiens weren't successful to get rid of Yannick Weber. So in 20 games for the Kings, Drewiske got 4 points, plus 3, with an average of 14.5 minutes. Which is good ice time, which was a lot more than the 1 point Jared Tenorti was getting when he was up here with Montreal. Drewiske in the game against the Flyers played 15.5 minutes, went -1, but that was a bad game in general for the Montreal Canadiens. And against the Jets, he played 17.5 minutes, went -1. He played about 3 minutes on the penalty kill and blocked 3 shots. So, and I'm sure George on the penalty kill, Drewiske, he should help out on it.
Yeah, I mean he should. And again, you can never have too many penalty killers. I think Michel Therrien believes in a system where he has his penalty killing specialist, but everybody should be able to play on a penalty kill, and having a veteran presence there on the blue line does help when Georges and Bouillon are not available.
It's exciting to get the first one on my belt. A little bit of nerves at the first 30 minutes maybe, but the guys are good in the room, calming me down a little bit. But it's definitely special to get the first one on my belt.
So that was Nathan Beaulieu after his first game in the NHL last Saturday against the New York Rangers. Beaulieu played 2 games in Montreal, got 1 assist, went +2, and he was sent down right prior to the trade deadline after the game against the Carolina Hurricanes. So George, we saw so far this season Tenorti come up, we saw Patterson come up, we saw Beaulieu come up. Did these guys ever have a chance of staying here with the Canadiens, or we take a player like Drewiske was always on the radar for Bergevin?
Well, I think the call-up of the three rookies was sort of an addition, and I guess the results suggest that they weren't quite NHL ready yet, and for this reason he picked up a veteran such as Drewiske. However, from what I saw from the three of them, Patterson, Tenorti, and Beaulieu, I think Beaulieu is the closest to make an NHL spot on a regular basis. He has good offensive vision. He did some good plays on defense. A good pinch on the offense, which led to his first NHL point. So I would expect that Beaulieu has a better chance of making the team in the near future over Tenorti and Patterson.
And the Canadiens coaching staff must agree with you, because if you look at the ice time that was allowed to those three players, Beaulieu had an average of 16 minutes, 17 seconds. Jared Tenorti, 10.5 minutes. And Craig Patterson played a little bit over 9.5 minutes. And the good thing about Beaulieu, even in Hamilton, he plays a lot on the power play. And for the Canadiens right now, with Diaz's injury on the second power play unit, they're sort of stuck with Georges and Bouillon. And the Canadiens power play can be successful with those two guys on the back end of the second power play unit.
I mean, absolutely. On the first unit you have Subban and Markov, and then on the second unit you're not left with anybody. So Beaulieu can bring that, but from the looks of it, we'll have to wait till next season, or some injury to one of our current defensemen.
And we have some comments on Twitter in regards to the acquisition. We have Chris LaBelle. His Twitter handle is BC Habfan, who says that he likes what he's seeing so far with Drewiske. And we also have one more. I'm just trying to find it. We get a lot of tweets here at Habs360, so don't be shy. You send us some more. We'll read the most of them we could. So this one comes from Mike_Habs, who says he has been fine, doesn't look out of place, can chew minutes when needed. If and when Diaz is ready, though, he should be odd man out. So Mike pretty much echoes what me and George said. That so basically, Drewiske is just warming up the bench, basically for Diaz's return. And from what we heard from Michel Therrien yesterday, it seems that Diaz is coming closer and closer to coming back in the lineup. And hopefully, when Diaz comes back, he'll be able to continue where he left off. Before his injury, he played 19 games with 1 goal, 12 assists, 13 points, +5, and was taking 20.5 minutes. So when Diaz comes back, you know what that means. It means Drewiske is going to be the odd man out, and George Markov's minutes, I'm assuming, might go a little bit down as well.
And that's not a bad thing. I mean, Markov's not getting any younger, and just like we saw in Boston the last time they played, they got to Markov and they hurt him, and that's the key to Markov. You gotta get physical on him, and if he plays a lot of minutes, he won't be as effective as we want him to be. So the more talent that you have on the blue line, the less minutes Markov plays, the more solid he will be.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the sample of this week's episode. If you want to listen to the entire podcast, click on the link on this page or search Habs360 on iTunes. A reminder to follow me on Twitter at ChrisG1980. The next episode of Habs360 will air live on Saturday, April 13th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Follow at Habs360 on Twitter for more details. Enjoy your week, and we'll talk soon.